All right. Well, I guess I'm live. All right. I'm assuming this way is up. I want to see. I was trying to see if I could do it like sideways, but seems like it's doing it this way. Um. So let's see. I've been focusing still on the Japanese Buddhist maps. So let's see. I think since last time, I'm not sure what I've done since last time. Let's see. These are mostly all old things that I reposted recently. Let's see, I think I've done this since the last time. So this is Scotland, northern Scotland, Skye, and Outer Hebrides. And yeah, I guess it says that there. So yeah, this seems to be the face here in the Japanese Buddhist map, where his mouth is this thing. And the rest of it's pretty esoteric. Like, I think that this cheek line that delineates that cheek is probably this river right here. And then I'm guessing that his eye is either this or this line, because it's shown as kind of like a line. So then his eyebrow would be either this or this. Here's his chin. And then this is his hand, Sky. And he's holding the Outer Hebrides, which I don't know what it's supposed to represent, but whatever this is. All right. Yeah. So that's that. Here's Trinidad in the Japanese hellscape. All right, let me skip to some other things. If it lets me. Yeah. So this again is Scotland. So, this, I'm guessing this is his hair. Like, his hair has this weird, like, shape on the front of it. Like, it just shoots straight up and then goes back. So I'm guessing that's like this corner right here is that corner of hair. And then it goes back to this. I was thinking that Orkney might be part of his hair somehow, because it seemed like Orkney should be involved. But Orkney may be his other hand, actually. And yeah, here's his hand, Sky, holding, it's not actually touching the Outer Hebrides, but I think it's close enough for magic, close enough for this type of symbolism. And then this line coming down from behind his ear might be this, what is now the Caledonian Canal, or includes the Caledonian Canal. But I don't know if there was a canal back then or not. Supposedly not. There's San Francisco, Bayview, Hunters Point community. And it's these three ghosts. This woman is this is her face. Her hair is these two inlets here, Islas Creek Channel and Warmwater Cove. Then this other person's face is Hunters Point Naval Stockyard there. Hey, how's it going, Subtuaden? And yeah, and then this one, this ghost's hand that sticks through the other side here is their fingers are like, there's like now piers there, or whatever you call those, wharfs or something. And then this one is, their face is just flipped retrograde, so they're actually facing this way. Their bottom jaw is candlestick point here, and their face is like the Bayview area there. And some Egyptian pharaohs. Me looking weird, trying to find a good angle. So yeah, these are the Japanese Buddhist maps. Like, it starts with the hellscapes and then goes to the other realms. So this is like the first realm, kind of the entrance to hell. And honestly, I haven't even found this one yet. Like, I have not fully deciphered. Like, these could be like the Diomede Islands or whatever. And then this could be like maybe Kodiak Island. That's my best guess, but I haven't not really nailed any details down. This seems to be an area near there, between there and Mount Denali, the tallest mountain in our hemisphere. And I think this is like the Lord of Hell. His face just seems to be like actually an indentation on the ground there, like a big formation. This is like the Hell of Resurrection, basically Valhalla, which is in, this, like, the demon is Baldwin Peninsula, and he's beating the people in the Kobuk Delta, and then the other demon is Denby Peninsula, and the ghosts that he's attacking are the Korik Delta and Cape Darby and I forget what the other one's called. But yeah. Then this one is also part of that hell. And actually, this one probably precedes the other one, because they're shown in my book like I'm doing it left to right in the order of the pages, but those two hells are shown next to each other. And since the Japanese style is right to left, this one might actually precede this one. Then this is like an adjoining area in the Norton Sound. This also is an adjoining area. This, I'm not sure what this is. I was thinking that the island here was Nunavak, but I just recently discovered Nunavak is shown in another panel. So this has to be something else. Something important. So, I mean, there's a possibility that this is Kodiak, but who knows? I'm sure Kodiak is something, because it's like one of the biggest islands. This, I think, is the Yukon Delta, the delta of the Yukon River. This is the Lop Lagoon in Alaska. It's the hell of the Iron Rope. This picture didn't really come out, but this is Emmerich Bay, Alaska. This is Nunivak Island and adjacent peninsulas. This is Point Hope and surrounding areas, northern Alaska. This is Cape, let's see, what is that called? Cape something English sounding, I think. Yeah. Then this is probably like the Vancouver, Seattle area. Like this is probably the Olympic Peninsula. And this guy might be the Vancouver Island, like shrunken down. I'm guessing that he is, but I'm not sure. Because Vancouver Island certainly has to be somewhere. This is California, like Sonoma County. This is like an underwater formation. This is like Bodega Bay area, peninsulas. This picture didn't come through either, but it's Humboldt Bay and Arcata Bay, Eel River, Northern California. This is Southern California islands, the Channel Islands. And hi, Olivia. Hi, everybody. Veshram. So yeah, these are all the Channel Islands near LA and kind of Central Coast between like Santa Barbara and Orange County. This is like the Central Coast where I live, like right here, and Monterey Peninsula and whatnot. Point Lobos. This is Marin County with the or not the Azores, but the Farallone Islands and this twisty like underwater formation, and Point Bonita there. This is Point Reyes, an underwater formation and nearby peninsulas and whatnot. This is the San Francisco Bay, like San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond. These are flipped retrograde. And then Marin County and like Vallejo area up there. This is probably the islands inside the bay, like Angel Island, Treasure, or Treasure Island. I don't know. This, let's see. Yeah, this I have no idea what it is. So this is the 23rd panel. This is the beginning of the Hell of No Limit. So I think the Hell of No Limit is basically everything past California, which is basically the rest of South America and maybe the East Coast as well, seemingly parts of the East Coast. So if anybody can tell me or find any analogous geographic shapes like this along the American coastline, it would be much appreciated, but this is definitely a map of something there. And seems to be Trinidad, and I think this is like some nearby islands, maybe Tobago and something, and this, either this or this relates, is probably Parias Peninsula, Venezuela. This I have no idea what it is. Again, it's part of the Hell of No Limit, but looks like some sort of bay. This kind of looks like a bay as well. Yeah. And this might be not a hell. This might be the starving spirit realm. That's what it looks like. This looks like one of the starving spirits. They have these distended bellies. So they seem to be the Aleutian Islands, because the Aleutian Islands are volcanic islands. So they have these big round like parts of them. This is probably also the starving spirit realm. This is like the realm of the beasts, I guess, which I think is like the sea realm. So it might include like, I don't know. This looks like some kind of island with a peninsula. So I don't know which. I mean, it would include some kind of islands, I guess. This, I'm not sure which realm this is. And then this is the realm of man, the realm of humanity. So this is like Asia, Southeast Asia, China, India, and Australia here. And then like Indonesia between like Borneo and Sumatra. And then this is Western Europe, Britain, Ireland, France, Spain. And this seems to be, this probably includes Africa and the Mediterranean and like the Black Sea and Caspian Sea. I think like down here is Africa and up here is like all those Eurasian seas, or I guess Afro-Eurasian seas. This is just Britain, you know, England and Wales and Scotland. So yeah, Scotland's face is here, hair is here, hand is here, thingy is here, and this thingy is here. And the rest of this is a bit hard to suss out. Like this sword could be this thing, or maybe this thing. Hard to know. And then the face there, of course. This I was thinking might be his hand as Isla. That's, you know, that this would be his thumb and that this would be the other fingers together, and that this line going through would be like some of the waterways, maybe this waterway or more waterways going in there. But it may be that his other hand, because yeah, he has this hand here and then this hand, which is just like that. So it could be that Isla down here, but where it's positioned, it showed higher than the other hand. So it could actually be Orkney, as awkward as that is. Twat right there. You know, because even though Orkney doesn't look hell of a lot like a hand, arguably Isla looks more like a hand overall, but some of the details kind of match. Like this would be the thumb, this would be the pointer finger, and then somehow the rest of the fingers would be there. And certainly it matches for having a line going between these fingers, because that could be like any number of these, you know, separations between the islands. This is the temple of Queen Hatshepsut in Egypt. So this is in southern Egypt, in the old capital of Luxor, Valley of the Kings. And so yeah, I went there a couple years ago, but chances are, like this is like Mount Rushmore. And so, the Yankees, whatever, they killed all the natives and then carved, destroyed their sacred mountain by carving the founding fathers' faces into it, despite the fact that all the founders said explicitly that they would never want to be memorialized that way because that's like a monarchistic type of thing to have huge statues of people. It's not like a democratic type of culture. But, the scum who genocided the natives, the Lakotas, as much as they could, they also tried to genocide their culture as much as they could by destroying their gods. Like these were called the six grandfathers. So the stone formation was portrayed as being six grandfathers, and that's what traditional human religion is. It's finding anthropomorphic shapes in geography and making stories about it and honoring the earth and honoring nature. So you can kind of see some of what would be the faces, I guess, would be on the top parts that kind of stick out. But it's a very similar type of formation right behind Hatshepsut's temple. Like, this could be a face of one, there could be some other faces around there. So I would definitely bet money, if I had money, that this is the reason this temple is built there is actually because of these shapes and because they tie into much older myths, geomyths, geographic, topographical stories to memorize their land. So yeah, Six Grandfathers Mountain, Lakota. Well, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I'll probably butcher it. But yeah, that's probably the actual reason that her temple is there. And why, for instance, why the pyramids are in Giza, that's probably because of the natural formation of the Sphinx. The Sphinx is like a, feline figure that is made out of limestone and just comes up out of the bedrock, basically. So yeah, this is another view of that. And this is like, so this is the Japanese Buddhist depiction of Asia, where, it starts with like the Indus River over here, and then you have India here. Maybe you can kind of see the little white dot might be Sri Lanka here. Then it focuses especially on Southeast Asia. So I think this part is right here. Then it especially zooms in on this area here of these like islands and seamounts and whatever coming, and peninsulas and whatnot coming off of the Malay Peninsula there in Myanmar, Burma. But it shows the Malay Peninsula essentially as a leg, with this being the heel of the foot, and this being the toes of the foot there, and it has one big toe, which matches this little type of peninsula on the end of the Malay Peninsula. Has Borneo retrograde and Sumatra with these kind of fingers coming out of it as this arm and hand, and Australia down here. So yeah, so this is a leg here. The Malay Peninsula is a leg, whereas in the ancient Egyptian Book of Two Ways, it's portrayed as a shark's tail, I believe this is, but somewhat similar still. But the text that actually accompanies this, like in the Egyptian maps, a lot of times the picture they show of a place is totally different from the text they'll give to it, because there's so many different avatars of the same lands that they basically just give different myths together so you can be sure to understand it. So like so yeah. So 1136, the text that goes with that, the hieroglyphs say, I have come by the north winds, because it's like you're sailing from Taiwan to there. Mine is the place of Shu. But then he gives another translation. Mine is the leg of Shu. And so he directs us to Borgode's magical texts, and indeed Borgode's does translate this as leg of Shu. So Shu is a god that basically corresponds to Atlas, holds up the heavens. So the fact that the Egyptians are associating the Malay Peninsula with the leg of Shu, or that this is my guess, because this is the translation that actually has meaning. That they're calling this the leg of Shu, and so it could directly relate through the different global traditions. 4,000-year-old map showing it as a shark's tail. 19th century Japanese Buddhist map showing it as a leg. And then this is what it actually looks like. So yeah, I think I certainly lean towards that interpretation, that Borgode's translation was correct, and that this is being referenced both as a shark tail and as a leg, because it's shaped a lot like both. Yeah, and it has a lot of details in here, you know, like all this stuff relates to like this kind of dark area of all these rivers here. And like these details, like this bone, I think is a little peninsula that sticks out of Myanmar. Medieval walrus ivory may reveal trade between indigenous Americans and Vikings hundred of years before Columbus arrived in the Americas. DNA analysis. So yeah, it's from like 900 AD, I believe, that the Vikings were at least trading for walrus tusks with natives in Baffin Island, which is Canadian islands. But, you know, probably contact never really stopped. There was probably always contact both across the Atlantic and Pacific. Canadian Arctic. So yeah, this is a Buddhist depiction of the underworld, of how that might relate to this. It might be that the Alaskan Peninsula is this elephant, just as the Mayans seem to depict it basically as an elephant, as like Cha'ak, Tlaloc, and then I'm not sure where these other guys would be, somewhere down here. Because I think it is around this area that the text refers to this, the realm of where there's a bunch of animals and a section of hell. So that could be that. So yeah, here it just says, I am the leg of Shu. Or it could be, mine is the leg of Shu, my leg is the leg of Shu, based on the two translations. So these are different Japanese Buddhist hellscapes of northern Alaska. So this one is Point Hope there. This one is, you know, Baldwin Peninsula and Kobuk Delta here. This one is Lop Lagoon over here. This one is Emmerich Bay there. This one is right there, basically, whatever that is. Little peninsulas and stuff near St. Michael Island, I guess. This is St. Michael Island and Stewart Island. There in Norton Sound. This is another adjacent part of the coastline of Norton Sound. This seems to be the Yukon Delta. This is Nunavak Island and adjacent coastline, which is right there. Nunavak Island right there, coastline there. Then this seems to be some stuff that's right in there. Yeah, so this is 10 of these just for this area of Alaska, which is only 1,300 miles from Japan. So this is pretty close. Like, Japanese people were known to have like visited India like in antiquity, which is like 2,000 or more miles away. So Alaska is much closer. So yeah, this is just showing these again. And it's interesting that the Egyptian and the Japanese map both show it as somewhat of the same orientation, which is not exactly set to any of the cardinal directions, but it has like the kind of foot of the leg or the end of the tail sticking up. And so, there it is in reality. Here it is here. Here it is there. I am the leg of shoe, 1136. So it just shows that these ancient traditions were likely connected. Because, of course, if you're sailing around all these places, you're going to bump into other people sailing around those places. So I suspect that this is from the same map, the map of Asia. Yeah, it's from above there. So I suspect that this wolf or whatever it is Lake Balkhash, Kazakhstan, and that its nose is this part right here, and that its lower jaw is like this kind of river delta or whatever that dark area is coming down. And then its arched back is up here, and then its tail is somewhere around here, and its legs might relate to some of these waterways in here and whatnot. So yeah, this is probably this, because this is one of the biggest lakes on Earth. Certainly, I think it's the second biggest lake in Asia. So, or this far east in Asia at least. So the fact that this is one of the main things depicted there, I think they're mostly focusing on the really big important features like this. And he even has like a little eye right there of the islands, and then this little ears. See how the ears are just little parts that stick up there. And then the eye would be this island there. Lower jaw would be probably this, river delta or whatever that is, estuary or something. And then, this is back. Hard to make out all the rest of the details there. But seemingly it's his feet are like down in here. Probably relate to these rivers. And hey Tracy, hey Trey, is that Trey? How's it going? Then this is where I live, basically Monterey Peninsula, Point Lobos, and so Monterey and Pacific Grove are this ghost here, flipped retrograde, like she's pointing the other way. This is like her elbow. Her boobs are right here. And basically her vagina is the Monterey Harbor there. And then this other guy here's head is Pebble Beach there. And then this guy's head is, I think both of these peninsulas are iterations of his head. And then these guys, which are right behind his head and kind of part of it, are these two characters here. Like this one's him, this one's him. It's a terrible photo though. Like I just tried to take like a bunch of these photos really quickly and some of them suck. But this might be the face of Ireland, or this is the face of Ireland. And so I'm trying to see where it is topographically. Chances are it's this. This is my guess, because I know that she's shown with a large nose compared to some of the other people. And so that has to be significant. So I'm guessing that this is her nose. This is her chin. And she kind of has like a double, triple chin, but that might relate actually to these other like parts of land that are separated by this inlet. This part where her hair is coming down might relate to this Loch Ness there. And this could be one of her eyes, even though her eyes are shown like kind of like just skinnier lines. This still could be one of her eyes somehow. And then this would be her hair. And then her mouth, something in here. It's not like the most anthropomorphic topography that exists, but I could see where they're going with it. This is Denby in, or not Denby, this is Stebbins, St. Michael Islands, Alaska. So this is his knee, this is his head, and whatnot. This Cape Newenham, that's the name of that place. Cape Newenham, Alaska. Emmerich Bay, Alaska. Point Hope, Alaska. All right, so this is like, I'm going to try to go to this temple tomorrow, like a Buddhist temple, which is the same type of Buddhism that made this these maps. It's called Pure Land Buddhism. So hopefully they'll have more info about it. So this just shows like on Nunavak Island, this demon, it's like his head. I'm guessing his horns are these two things. I mean, it's hard because there's like a million things that could be horns around here, but I'm now leaning towards it being these two. And then his nose that sticks kind of straight out. He has like this big like brow ridge that sticks straight out, and then his nose sticks straight out. So the brow ridge is here, the nose is there, and then the mouth is much more convoluted, but it relates to like this river here. That seems to be this line going back in there. And then his elbow is back here, and then it seems like the back of his weapon is back there, but I don't know which one it would be. If this would be the elbow or if this would be the back of the weapon, because the weapon I think is this part, whereas this whole part is his arm. Whereas here his arm is more tucked in, here his arm is stretched out, and this is his hand holding the bident, and then the bident, one like prong of it is sticking out, and then the rest of it is subsumed into the land there. And then like, so yeah, but some part of this is his elbow. Then this is like his butt, where it has all this weird kind of textured there or design or something. I think that's this area here that looks all weird and trippy. And then the like hairs that are coming down from that are probably in the water, like these little kind of sea mounts or whatever you want to call those, little shoals and stuff that look a bit like that. And then the legs, I think, this leg, I guess, would be somehow this, and then this leg would have to be, yeah, I've not really deciphered the legs yet, if I ever will, but at least most of this guy's relatively straightforward. And then there's people in here too, like that's a person and that's a person. So yeah, there's the face. It's like not the most anthropomorphic face, other than just the brow ridge and the nose. And then this, I think, is the upper lip. This is this line that goes back. It seems to be this river. And so the mouth is like this whole area. It's kind of, there's a few of these type of avatars where the mouth takes up a huge area, like in Cape Denby, or on what's one of the Channel Islands is like that, I think, too. So here's Scotland again. So yeah, this hand might actually be that. It's either this or that. Or it could honestly be that they're both different avatars of the hand. That this is his hand when he's raising it, this is his hand when he's lowering it. But based on its position here above slightly above the other hand and on the other side of his ear, I'm leaning towards it's being Orkney primarily, even though Orkney looks overall less like a hand than Isla does. And it's not like, it doesn't have a nice arm like Jura here attaching it to the mainland. But this is like where the first stone circles in Scotland were built, like 6,000, or in Britain, in the British Isles, the first stone pillars were in the Outer Hebrides here, and then in Orkney, and then in Skye and some of these islands, and then eventually it went down to England. But the altar stone of Stonehenge is from here. So this was still arguably the center of British religion, even during the Stonehenge times, which was like a couple thousand years after the stone monuments started being built up here. And yeah, the rest of the details are pretty hard to suss out, other than obviously this is that. And, these things relate to something back here. Like, again, this sword might be this, might be that. Those are my two guesses so far. And his hair seems to basically just be this from here to there. And yeah, weird hairdo. And as in other avatars, it's kind of shrunken down from what it is. Here's the face. So I'm guessing that the eye, yeah, the eye is either this or this. Like if the eye was this, then the eyebrow could even be this, because based on the hair being way up there, these could be the two eyebrows. This could be the eye, or the, maybe this and this would be the eyes. This would be the nose and the mouth, chin. So it's certainly a bit esoteric, but it's probably one of those. It's either the eyes here, the eyebrows here, or the eyes here, the eyebrows way up here. And the eyebrows shown a bit raised, so it would maybe be surprising if it was just the eye here and the eyebrow there. But so yeah, this might be the eyebrow, as weird as that is, because the hair is even further up. This is Point Bonita in Marin County, as anthropomorph ghost. And but I was noticing, like, he kind of even looks like he could be looking at his reflection in the water, because there's sort of a face even in the water, like an eye here, an eyebrow there, a nose here, and a mouth there, and kind of a chin there, and sort of an outline of a face. So I'm not sure. I don't see any indication of them representing that, but at least in the abstract, that certainly could be seen as that. And somewhere down, there's Rio de la Plata in Argentina. Has a zoomorphic gatekeeper in the Egyptian Book of Two Ways. And Egyptian maps. All right, I guess I'll leave it at that, but thank you very much, and take care.